Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back for another Puerto Rican cooking tutorial. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to make my mom's version of Bacalao Encebollado con Viandas, which is salted fish and onions accompanied by a medley of root vegetables and green bananas. Now, bacalao is also called saltfish in English and it is a dietary staple in Caribbean cooking. It is very simple to make, it's very delicious, and I'm going to show you one out of many Puerto Rican versions of bacalao. So let's get into it. So I've been craving bacalao and viandas for a really long time. So as soon as I went into the grocery store, I knew exactly what I needed to get. Starting off with some green bananas. Since I'm only making 1 pound of bacalao, I'm just going to get 4 small green bananas. Then I'm going to head over to the freezer section where they have a lot of different frozen Goya products, and I'm going to get this bone salted Pollock fillets for our bacalao. So what's unique about bacalao, hence the English name saltfish as they call it in Jamaica, is it is dried out and preserved by using a copious amount of salt. Now, we're going to boil out some of that salt for a good while, and I like to do it for 25 minutes. I find that that's perfect. Now, if you find that your bacalao is still too salty after boiling it for 25 minutes, drain the water and boil it for an additional 10 minutes in fresh water. Now, while my bacalao is boiling, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my viandas. For today's recipe, I'm going to use Goya's frozen viandas that's commonly used for sancocho. It has a medley of different types of root vegetables, even plantain. It has pumpkin, yuca, sweet potato, malanga, which is taro root. It's very convenient. I feel that fresh is best, but again, this is for convenience. Feel free to use whatever you like. You can even go ahead and use frozen yuca and pumpkin, and that's it, and just call it a day. Sometimes it's a bit hard to find taro root in the store. So, just use whatever you can find, whatever is easily available to you. So I'm just going to boil this until it's nice and tender, and I'm going to add a generous amount of salt to that water because root vegetables are very, very bland. And then I'm going to slightly cover my pot, leaving a wide enough gap so that while it's boiling, the water doesn't boil over. So since viandas take a lot longer to boil, it took about 25 minutes to get them how I like them. I like to boil the green bananas separately because these only take about 10 minutes until they're nice and tender. I'm just going to go ahead and boil them in that same water that I used to boil the viandas. My bacalao was done a little bit before my viandas were done. All I did was scoop them out of the pot and just set them to the side. And now it's time to prepare our bacalao encebollado. And over medium-high heat, I already began sauteing 1 whole sliced white onion, and I also added a little bit of green bell pepper. The bell pepper is optional, but if you wish to use some, you can use whichever kind of bell pepper you prefer. And when it's halfway cooked, I am going to add that bacalao from earlier, but using my fork, I'm going to flake it up just a little bit. However, I don't need to work too hard because the bacalao is going to continue to flake on its own while I am stirring it in my pan. Throw that in there. And the cool thing about bacalao is it's already salted, so I don't have to add any salt. You only need to add salt if you overboiled it and you boiled out all of the salt. So you're definitely going to need to add salt then. And then I'm going to add a little at a time some extra virgin olive oil. You definitely want a good amount of oil because once this part is done, we're going to add our viandas, and viandas, aka root vegetables, they absorb moisture and you want to make sure that they have enough oil. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, we're just going to add the olive oil a little at a time, and we're going to stir everything as we go. And I'm going to continue cooking this until my onions and my peppers are nice and tender. Then I'm going to add a little bit of ground black pepper. My mom told me that she never adds black pepper, but since I like it, I'm going to add a little bit, so this part is optional. Give it a good stir. And once I felt like it was drying out a little bit, I went ahead and added a little more olive oil, a couple of stuffed Spanish olives, and continue stirring until everything is nice and tender. And now that everything is nice and tender, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my viandas from earlier. Now, I like my bacalao and viandas to be combined. That's just how I like it. I like to add a good amount of extra virgin olive oil to make sure that everything is nice and moist. However, if you like to keep your bacalao and your vianda separate, feel free to do so. You can keep your bacalao in one pan and you can prepare your viandas in a separate bowl by adding a little extra virgin olive oil, a little salt if it needs it, a little black pepper, whatever you like. But again, I like mine to be nice and combined. And then once I give it a really good mix, I'm gonna set my heat to the lowest setting. I'm gonna cover my pot with the lid and I'm just gonna let it be until it is time to serve. And the good thing about this dish is it can also be eaten cold. And that is all for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed today's recipe tutorial. Let me know if you're gonna give this recipe a try. Let me know if you've never made it before and it's gonna be your first time. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section down below. I am here to help. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel a ton, and hit that notification bell because a new video will be out every week. Until next time.